Stop and listen, because this message is not arriving by accident. There are moments when heaven allows a silence to stretch for years, not because nothing is happening, but because something has been hidden until the right hour. And now that hour is beginning to open. Archangel Michael says there is a hidden truth from your past that is moving toward the light, and what has been concealed is not staying buried much longer. You may have felt a strange weight for years, as if one chapter of your life never made sense no matter how much you replayed it in your mind. One conversation, one decision, one loss, one door that closed too quickly, one memory that refused to settle peacefully in your heart. But there is something else you need to know. Heaven has not forgotten what your mind could not explain. Stay with this message because the next revelation changes everything. Type Amen if you believe God still reveals what was once covered. There are truths that were hidden not to destroy you, but to protect you until you were strong enough to carry them. I know that sounds mysterious, and it is meant to. For some of you, the past has felt like a locked room in a house you were never allowed to enter. You know the room is there. You remember the shape of it. You can almost hear the echoes from inside it. Yet, every time you reach for the handle, something stops you. That is because the truth in that room has been waiting for the proper light. And now light is coming. You may soon remember details you thought were meaningless at the time, and those details will begin to connect like pieces of a hidden map. Do not ignore this part. What seemed random was not random. What seemed cruel may have contained protection. What seemed like rejection may have been redirection. Comment, God is working, if you can feel heaven moving in what you once called confusion. There is an old ache many of you have carried quietly, an ache that lives underneath your prayers. It is the ache of not knowing why certain things happened the way they did. Why was that promise delayed? Why did that person betray your trust? Why did one path disappear while another path seemed to mock you with closed gates? Why did a family pattern repeat itself? Why did you have to learn through pain what others seemed to receive with ease? Keep reading carefully, because the answer is not as simple as you once feared, and it is not as devastating as your worst thoughts imagined. Archangel Michael says the truth is more layered than the wound. There was hidden opposition, yes, but there was also hidden shielding. There was deception, yes, but there was also divine restraint. Heaven knows the conversations you never heard, the decisions made without your permission, and the unseen hands that tried to shape your story. Type protected if you believe God has been guarding you even in what you did not understand. Some of you have looked back over old photographs, old letters, old messages, and felt a sudden chill because something about the past no longer feels the same. At the time, you accepted the story you were given. You trusted the explanation. You moved forward with the fragments you had. But now the Spirit is shining a new light on those old images. It is as if a lamp has just been carried into an abandoned room, and what was dimly outlined is suddenly visible. Faces look different now. Timing looks different now. Silence looks different now. Even your own role in those events feels more meaningful than you realized. There is more happening than you realize, and before long the hidden thread will pull free. Do not leave this message early, because a buried connection is about to emerge, and it will help you understand why certain seasons in your life unfolded the way they did. Type 1 believe if you know God can reveal what time tried to conceal. The truth coming to light is not only about what was done to you. It is also about what was kept from you. Some of you were kept from a path that looked right but would have drained your future. Some were protected from a partnership that would have cost your peace. Some were spared from entering a room where your gifts would have been dismissed too early. And yes, some of you were left with unanswered questions, because heaven was refusing to let you discover everything before your heart was ready. That does not erase the pain. It explains the delay. It places your tears inside a larger mercy. Do not skip this part. What looked like a missed opportunity may actually have been a shield. What looked like a closed chapter may have been a hidden rescue. What looked like a forgotten promise may soon be revealed as a delayed promise. Comment still standing if you have survived more than you ever thought you could. Before we continue, I feel led to share something with you. Over the years, thousands of people have reached out asking for powerful prayers they could pray during difficult seasons of life. That's why I put together a collection of some of the most powerful faith-building prayers I know. These prayers have helped people find peace during anxiety, strength during hardship, and hope when they felt like giving up. The best part is that I decided to make it completely free. If you would like a copy, simply check the link in the description and I'll send it to you. Do not wait until another difficult season arrives. Take it now while it's available and keep it close for the days ahead. Now, there is something else you need to know. There is a strange thing about hidden truth. Once it begins to surface, other memories start to align around it. You may suddenly remember who said what, who looked away, who kept insisting on a version of events that never fully satisfied your spirit. You may remember a repeated warning you ignored because you wanted peace. You may remember a gentle nudge you could not explain. And then, almost like a sealed archive cracking open in a quiet chamber, the full record starts to breathe again. Archangel Michael says a sealed file is being opened spiritually, and what is written there will not condemn you. It will clarify you. Some of you have blamed yourself for years for something that was never fully your burden to carry. Others have carried guilt for a role you played in ignorance, not in rebellion. The light is coming to separate emotion from truth. Stay until the end because the fog is thinning and the first clear line is closer than you think. Type 333 if you sense a shift already beginning. There is also a hidden family layer in this revelation, and it may explain why certain patterns have felt bigger than your personal story. Some of you inherited questions, not answers. You inherited silence. You inherited tension around names that were never spoken openly. You inherited a legacy of unfinished conversations, and that legacy may have shaped the way you love, trust, and wait. But heaven is not exposing this to shame your family line. Heaven is exposing it to break the cycle. There is a name that has been mentioned in the unseen realm, a name tied to a decision from long ago, a decision that changed the direction of more than one life. You may not know what that decision was yet, but the clue is already moving toward you through a conversation, a document, a memory, or an unexpected contact before the season ends. Keep your heart open. The revelation approaching is not random. It is ancestry meeting destiny. Type yes, Lord, if you are ready for truth that heals instead of wounds that repeat. Some truths remain hidden because they are tied to timing. If you had known earlier, you might have broken under the weight of it. You may have stepped into bitterness too soon, or into fear too deeply, or into a conclusion that was not fully complete. But now your spirit is stronger. Now your discernment is sharper. Now the same thing that once would have shattered, you can actually set you free. That is why heaven allows the past to speak, only when the heart can listen differently. Archangel Michael says, not all hidden things are exposed in the same way. Some emerge through a conversation that begins casually, but carries a surprising confession. Some surface through an old object found in a drawer, an email recovered, a photograph rediscovered, a date that suddenly matters. What happens next is important. Something small will unlock something large. Do not dismiss the ordinary. The ordinary is where heaven often hides the extraordinary. Comment ready if you are prepared for God to reveal what has been buried. You may have wondered why certain relationships felt unfinished, why certain goodbyes felt wrong, why certain losses seem to arrive with no explanation. There is an answer forming around that. It is possible that what you called abandonment was actually a release from something you could not yet see. It is possible that the silence that haunted you was covering a battle you were never meant to fight in your own strength. It is possible that the person you thought had forgotten you was themselves carrying a concealed burden, and that burden affected the choices they made. I am not saying every wound disappears with one revelation. I am saying the truth is capable of rearranging pain. Keep reading carefully, because the next revelation may not erase the memory, but it will change the meaning. That changes everything. Type faith if you believe God can turn a painful memory into a doorway of peace. There is an image heaven is highlighting now, an abandoned room with sunlight breaking through a cracked window. Dust rises in the beam of light, and for the first time in years the room is seen as it truly is. Not haunted, not cursed, not empty, just waiting. Many of you have been treating one area of your life like that room, assuming it held only loss. But when the light enters, you will notice something hidden in the corner, something preserved, something untouched by decay. A letter, a key, a map, a clue. Not always literal, but deeply symbolic. A preserved piece of your story that was never destroyed, only covered. There is more happening than you realize, and you may soon discover that what you thought was lost was actually safeguarded for this exact season. Before long, understanding will arrive in a way that makes your heart breathe again. Type 1 receive if you are open to heaven restoring what confusion had hidden. The enemy loves to build false conclusions out of incomplete information. He whispers, "You were not chosen." He whispers, "You were left behind." He whispers, "It was your fault." He whispers, "You missed your chance." But Archangel Michael says those accusations are losing power because the truth is approaching with authority. Some of you were not passed over. You were preserved. Some of you were not forgotten. You were being prepared. Some of you were not delayed by punishment. You were delayed by wisdom. The voice of accusation has been loud, but it has not been truthful. And a truth that has been delayed is still truth. It still arrives with power. It still carries evidence. It still exposes the lie. Keep your eyes on what is opening now in the spirit, because a hidden decision has already been made on your behalf, and its effects are beginning to show. Comment bled if you are willing to believe that God's verdict is greater than the enemy's narrative. Many people watching this message have been carrying burdens they never talk about. If that sounds like you, I want to give you something special. I created a free prayer guide filled with powerful prayers for protection, breakthrough, peace, healing, and strength. Thousands of believers have already downloaded it and shared how much it encouraged them during difficult moments. There is absolutely no cost. I simply wanted to place this resource into the hands of people who need it most. If you feel led, go to the description and claim your free copy before continuing. One prayer prayed at the right moment can change more than you realize. Now listen carefully, because the next part of this message is important. Maybe that is why you have felt a strange restlessness lately, as if your spirit knew something was about to shift before your mind could name it. Restlessness often comes when heaven is stirring an old floorboard to reveal what is beneath. You may feel prompted to revisit an old place, reread an old message, contact an old friend, or examine a detail you once overlooked. Do not rush past these nudges. Pay attention. The answer may not come through dramatic thunder. It may come through an ordinary moment carrying an extraordinary weight. Archangel Michael says there is a hidden connection returning, and it may involve someone you thought was permanently out of your story. That connection is not necessarily about reunion. Sometimes it is about confirmation. Sometimes it is about closure. Sometimes it is about hearing the missing piece that finally sets you free. Tonight, be sensitive. In the coming days, one small sign may speak louder than years of guessing. Type 777 if you believe heaven is aligning the missing pieces. And yet, Even as truth rises, emotional wounds may stir. That is normal. When light enters a buried place, it does not only reveal treasure, it also reveals what has been hurting in the dark. Some of you may feel grief before relief. Some may feel anger before peace. Some may feel overwhelmed when the first hint of truth arrives, because it confirms what your heart knew but could never prove. Stay with it. Do not leave at the first sting. The wound is being exposed so it can finally be treated. There is a difference between pain that destroys and pain that heals. This is the kind that heals, even if it burns at first. Archangel Michael says, "Shield your heart from panic, because the truth will not crush you. It will cleanse you. Before this season ends, what once felt like a mystery will become a testimony." Type protected. If you trust God with what is being uncovered, you may discover that an old disappointment contained a hidden detour. You may realize that a failed plan saved you from a future struggle you could not have predicted. You may even see that the people who misunderstood you were part of the refining process that shaped your discernment. That does not make the pain small. It makes the purpose visible. Heaven is not mocking your tears. Heaven is preparing your understanding, and understanding is a form of freedom. Some of you have been carrying a narrative that was built on half-truths, misunderstandings, and silence. But the truth is a mercy, and mercy is arriving with clarity. Do not ignore this part. As the story becomes clearer, your self-blame will begin to weaken. Your fear will begin to loosen. Your confidence will rise because you will finally see that what happened was not the end of your destiny. Type Amen if you are ready to release the version of the past that lied to your heart. There is also a hidden blessing in this revelation that you do not want to miss. Often the thing that comes to light is not only an explanation, it is also an invitation. Once you know what really happened, you can finally stop rebuilding your future around a false memory. That means new decisions become possible. New relationships become possible. New levels of peace become possible. A door that was stuck in your mind may open once the truth is named. A path you avoided out of fear may suddenly look safe enough to walk. A gift you buried because of shame may begin to stir again. The light is not merely exposing the past, it is restoring your vision for the future. And that is why this message matters right now. The revelation is not ending your story. It is beginning the next chapter. Comment, "My time is coming," if you feel the release of a new beginning approaching. Some of you are about to understand why certain seasons felt delayed without visible reason. The answer may involve protection you never knew about, prayers you never heard, and battles fought on your behalf in hidden places. Heaven kept records of every tear, every prayer, every moment you thought you were unseen. Nothing was missed, nothing was wasted, and now as the archive opens, you will see that even the silence had structure. Even the waiting had purpose. Even the questions were part of a wider restoration. But there is another truth being revealed, and it is this. You are not being shown the past simply to relive it. You are being shown the past so you can reclaim your peace from it. The old room is being entered not to stay there, but to recover what belongs to you and walk out free. Stay until the end, because this is where understanding becomes healing. Type 1 Trust God if you are ready to let truth become your healing place. There may be one final piece that feels especially personal, almost too personal to speak aloud. A hidden apology, a suppressed confession, a long-delayed admission. It may come from someone who once withheld the truth because they feared the consequences, or because they did not know how to tell you what really happened. If that happens, do not let shock steal your discernment. Take it to prayer. Test it in peace. Let the Spirit confirm what is real. This is not about chasing every detail of the past. It is about receiving the part that frees you from carrying a false burden into your future. Archangel Michael says the breakthrough is approaching, not as a thunderclap, but as a steady unveiling. At the appointed hour, Everything needed for your understanding will be supplied. Your role is simple. Remain open, remain prayerful, remain steady. The truth is coming, and it will not come empty-handed. It will come with deliverance. Type faith if you know heaven's timing is never late. And now the revelation begins to settle into your spirit. The hidden truth about your past was never meant to imprison you forever. It was waiting for the season when you could hear it without being shattered by it. That season is here, or very near. What once felt like a locked memory is becoming a witness. What once felt like confusion is becoming a map. What once felt like loss is becoming evidence of care you could not see at the time. So do not fear the light. Let it enter the room. Let it reveal the photograph, the archive, the corridor, the forgotten corner of your story. Let it show you that heaven was working while you were weeping. Let it confirm that you were guided, protected, and chosen through more than you knew. The past is speaking now, not to curse you, but to set you free. And when the truth comes fully into view, you will finally understand why this message found you today. Type yes, Lord, if you are ready to walk forward with peace, clarity, and a heart no longer ruled by hidden pain. Before you leave, remember that my free prayer collection is waiting for you in the description below. Thousands of people have already downloaded it and used these prayers during seasons of anxiety, uncertainty, spiritual battles, and breakthrough. I made it completely free because I want every believer to have access to powerful prayers when they need them most. If this message encouraged you today, make sure you claim your free copy before you go. And if this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. May God bless you, strengthen you, and guide every step ahead.